And welcome to episode 14 of Chapter 1. We're already off topic. 3 women, 1 podcast, where we're all just a little bit in love with Ethan freaking Wyatt. I'm Mary.
Oh. I'm Catherine.
I'm Elizabeth.
And tonight we will be finishing up the final chapters of The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year by Allie Carter, along with our review and our star rating, and ringing in the new year for our New Year's Eve episode. And also listening to my husband assemble my IKEA desk in the background. So have fun with that. But first, what are we having?
You go.
Brownies that Catherine made. They look delicious. They are delicious. This is my second one. Also, what are we having? Cinnamon tea.
Cinnamon tea lattes. Very tasty.
I'm doing an sugar cookie Earl Grey latte to go with my sugar cookies that I made the other day.
Nice.
With little sprinkles in them.
Ooh, we love a sprinkle.
So since we are coming into 2026, do you guys do New Year's resolution? Do you have a New Year's resolution?
It depends. I guess sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I think there's general goals for the year, but
I'm just trying to survive the year.
for me, I would love it if 2026 had better, let's see. 2025 had good things. It also had just a lot of crushing things too that really sucked. So I would love it if 2026 maybe had less of those things. Less loss in 2026 would be awesome. There's not really something I can work towards.
I was gonna say, I don't think you can control that.
It's more of a general request.
From the universe.
Like, if
I
you just
would like
please
it
knock
if
it off.
2026 was nicer to me than 2025.
Same.
But
Any personal goals? I mean, I don't know. If y'all come up with something, I'll come up with something. Because Lord knows there's
I'll have to
definite
think about
improvement. Maybe lose some weight before the next ball.
I feel like that's a constant goal for me. I'm like every single ball. I'm like, except for I think Mount Olympus. I just gave up the ghost. I was like, you know what? It is what it is.
once I got my dress and it was like a one size fits all, I was like, oh, that's fine. So I'll be fine.
As I'm stuffing my face with brownies that are delicious.
Yeah.
So delicious.
I know. I feel like the I need to lose weight before the balls thing is hard when we're just constantly doing the baking.
Yeah, we're just like,
I'm like, you know what would go great with that? A scone.
Nice piece of cake.
And it doesn't help either that ever since frickin' August, I had weird asthma, but it's not asthma, or it might be asthma. I don't know.
I think we covered this in an episode where we said,
Yeah.
there's these things called doctors, and they're
Correct. And I tried to work out. I don't know if I mentioned this in the podcast or if I just mentioned it to you guys. I can't remember. But I told James, I was like, I'm about to apparently be in my fat girl era because I tried to exercise. It took me 20 minutes. That's all I did was 20 minutes of exercise. I was coughing and couldn't breathe for the rest of the evening. And I was just like, with the amount of baked goods that I consume and the lack of exercise that's going to be happening, it's okay. Body
tell them
positivity.
what Christmas present your oldest wants. Do you remember?
He wants the Beast Lab hybrids.
But he also wanted, he wants a baby sister.
Oh, did he tell you that?
James told me.
Oh.
So, what do you think?
Both of them asked for a baby sister.
Both of them.
And
he would not take
and a puppy.
because you need 3 dogs.
And I was just like, you know what? Let's just bring all the living creatures into this house. Let's just go for it. It's not chaotic enough. Yeah, both of them asked for that, and I was like, wait, well, even if there was a baby, we couldn't choose if it was a sister or a brother. And also, no.
And also, absolutely not.
I mean, I'm not necessarily against more kids, but I know for a fact that James is, and I feel like if anybody is feeling a no, a hard no, then that's what wins. You know what I mean? Like, in my opinion.
I feel that.
Like,
I mean, I'm a hard no, but if God is like, girl, you're going to have a child, I don't care. There you have it. So, like, so if you wind up with a baby girl, miracle.
James was like, if it happened, like, I'd be okay. It'd be fine. But I'm not trying. But he's like, I would like to try and prevent it. Like, if it happened and we had no control over it, that's one thing. But like,
If it was like, oops,
then
it's
he'd
okay,
get
it's
on
okay,
board.
Yeah.
But he's not going to be like, let's do it. You know. So have a baby. That is.
It would be a
What
straight
about-
up 100% miracle if I had one. 100. I'd be like, that ain't nothing but God right there.
What about, so I know I asked you guys to send me like your most anticipated reads because I'm going to do a little post about it for everybody.
Oh, sorry, I haven't sent those yet.
That's fine. But like, what are some books that you're super looking forward to for 2026?
Fury Bound, Knave in the Moon.
Yep. Both of those, definitely.
Do they have to be new releases for 2026, or can they just be books that I'm excited to read? In
Just
2026?
books you're super
'Cause
excited to read.
I started to read Alchemized, but I haven't finished it, and I would really, really like. I'm really excited to read that. I actually haven't read Brimstone yet, and I don't know if that's going to be a before the end of the year deal. So I'm excited to read that. I'm excited to read our next book that we haven't announced yet, which I don't know. You go. You say things. Can you tell I'm waiting for ibuprofen to kick in?
I would also like to read Alchemized. I think I'm getting ready for it. I am reading Brimstone, and I saw where apparently the third book is supposed to come out next year. We'll see. We don't know. Yeah, it was on the list. Sarah J. Maas, where you at? ACOTAR. I mean, it's not listed, it's not posted, but
It's
we're
time,
all
girly pop.
looking.
Get it
We're
out
waiting.
there.
We're waiting. And I'll probably do a reread of some of those.
When are they going to make that into the show / movie that they were going to do? Like, when's that going to happen? I would like for that to happen.
I don't know.
Watch
It
the
was
movies.
greenlit and then it was like ungreenlit.
Of course.
I heard Alchemized got bought, and I'm pretty excited for that.
Yeah. That was like a big money deal too.
It was
Wow.
it was the largest book to film purchase.
I feel like that Alchemized would have to be not a movie, but a series. Because there's so much.
It was bought by, who was it bought by? I can't remember. Legendary Film.
All right. Well, dive
What about
back in.
Sierra?
Oh yeah, no, you gotta say.
At least
Well, so like I know the second Shield of Sparrows is coming out next year, and I loved Shield of Sparrows. It was one of my top reads this year, so I'm looking forward to that. Of course, like the ones that we read for the podcast, minus He Sees You When You're Sleeping. But I'm excited for the next ones of those.
But there is a sequel,
I
which the
think I'm-
reviews
I think I'm
said
just
it was
gonna
much
skip it.
better.
Who knows when
I'm
you're
like,
awake?
this glow's still trying it, but
I know. Like
About
if you
other
look at the
things.
reviews for the one and then the next one, it just jumps up exponentially.
yeah, they,
I'm
they
like,
were
what
like,
y'all
the second
do?
one is so much better. So I don't know.
I feel like probably more than likely if you liked the first one, then you read the second one. So you're going to like the second one, where all the people who didn't like the first one just dropped off.
Yeah, that's true. So it didn't. Yeah,
So
that's
the
a fact.
reviews would probably be higher. I could be wrong. Maybe it's way better. Who knows? But I'm also, I don't know, there's a ton of books that I want to read. I'm also really trying to make a point to like I'd like to like either read some more indie authors next year, or just things that are like kind of quirky or weird or outside my norm, and just like play with that at least a little bit next year, because sometimes I get stuck in a rut and I want to be sure I like
Yeah, my
Yeah.
list is primary horror and fantasy mixed with a little bit of romance. But it's like, horror, fantasy. It's the big bulk of it. And then I did add like this cute little book I found. I cannot remember the name because it was a long title. But it had something to do with a cat. I'm like, that is my cozy read for the year. Definitely. my
Isabella
cozy-
Nag?
No, but that is on my TBR. I didn't count it because it's not a 2026 release.
I love Isabella Nag.
But And then one of the books I'm nervous for because it's by the same author as Needless Street. The Last House on Needless Street. And I hated that book.
You hated it.
I hated it. But it's on my list because I'm like, I'm going to give her a chance. So that's probably going to be my hate read, like my hate buy. You know what I mean? But I'm going to give her a chance because I read the synopsis. It looks really good. It's highly anticipated by other people. And I'm like, it's not. I will say this for that book. I had a hard time reading The Last House on Needless Street, but the ending of that was absolutely superb. The twist at the end was truly chef's kiss, but it is murder to get there. It is like, please someone hang me now. I literally had a hard time picking up the book. There was no motivation to pick it up.
Cat's POV, and
it was from the cat's POV, and that was part of the problem because a lot of the writing was like, see spot, run, see spot. I don't know this. I mean, the
see
way
spot, die.
The cat was written, it was very just elementary. And I'm like sitting here like, I can't take it. I can't take it. I need something more adult. And so I had a hard time returning to that book and would physically be ill. Like, oh, I don't want to read this. This is stupid. But I pushed through. I persevered. I finished the book. And I was like, wow, the ending was actually fantastic.
That book that Zoe read,
I think she liked it.
Well, no, not The Last House on Needless, but she read another book.
Oh, it was from the child's point of view. With the one with the teddy bear on the front.
It was the one where like there's like the shadow mommy or the second mommy or whatever, and or the I don't know, something. And she said that one was really hard because like it's from a kid's perspective and like that was.
It's just
Can you imagine reading a book and it's just like.
Well, it's like
a toddler or like something like just being like and then maybe there's just kind of like.
Yeah.
I love listening to my kids, but I wouldn't opt to read a book written by them. Like, can you?
At least not a big book.
Well, yeah, if Christopher wrote it, it'd be pretty informative.
A few pages of that, you're like, okay, and at least those books have pictures. There's no pictures in The Last House on Needless Street.
I know more about dinosaurs from talking to Christopher than I think I ever learned in school.
He'll tell you about it. He knows a little bit about everything. He's really smart. We finished How to Train Your Dragon today, the first book. And so we watched the movie together. Was it the same? No. Oh my gosh.
Really? I love the movie.
Not even a little bit the same. There was a dragon named Toothless, and the main character's name is Hiccup. But, the names are the same. Like, the dad is Stoic the Vast, and, stuff like that. But there are characters that are in the movie that are not in the book. There are also, Toothless was like a big freaking dragon in the first How to Train Your Dragon book. He's teeny tiny. He sits on Hiccup's shoulder. And Toothless is just like, he's riding him. He's huge. And then just the discrepancies in it, I almost hated for Christopher to watch it because I was like, these are two such different stories. They're completely different. And so I was talking to him and I was just like, these are pretty different, aren't they? And he's like, yeah, they are. And I'm like, it was just,
He's learning.
I'm like, maybe it'll come up later. Like maybe late, because it's a series of books, and I'm like, maybe like these things that maybe they've combined certain elements, and maybe like some of the stuff that's happening in the movie come up later in the book series. Mm-hmm. Like maybe Toothless becomes a Night Fury because they think that he's just like this common dragon. They don't think he's anything special, and which is like a big deal because Hiccup is like the son of the chief. And he's supposed to have this fancy dragon, but he ends up and they steal the dragons as babies. To like train them to like hunt and like stuff like that. They don't ever fight the dragon. It's not like they make it out like the dragon's like a pest that they kill. It's nothing like that. And not in the first one anyway. And I'm like, maybe it'll change as the series progresses. I don't know. But I was watching it and I was like, this isn't like the same storyline at all. I'm like, Astrid is not even in the book. And I'm like, does she show up later as like a love interest? I don't know. I got a lot of questions. I know it's not what book we're talking about, but if anyone's wondering, okay, it's a very, very different. And I'm like, wow, I guess they even do this with children's books. Because, oh my Lanta, I was tore out the frame. But we did make homemade popcorn because I say homemade, excuse me. Our microwave went out like a couple weeks ago, and we have not replaced the microwave. So I got the kernels from the store, and we made it on the stove. And Christopher thought it was pretty cool watching it pop. I found it to be a little stressful because you're having to hold it with like the top like a little askew, and you're having to like shake it, and it's popping all over the place. It's trying to pop. It's.
Do you remember like the Jiffy Pop where like it would just
Yes.
grow? It always
Yes.
tasted
It
a little
wasn't.
burnt.
They still sell those.
They do still sell those. Me and Dwight got one because I was like, you have to experience Jiffy Pop once in your life, and I made Dwight do it. And we were both afterwards. I was like, this is mildly disappointing because it wasn't that good.
Well, I was explaining it to Mom, and she was like, Jiffy Pop. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's not the one that grows. I literally just put the kernels in a pot, and I just have to shake it until it. And she was like, yeah, but it's Jiffy Pop. And I was like, but it's not. She's like, this is what we called it. And I'm like, okay. Okay. But like I had to melt butter on the stove. I was like, wow, you know what? I get why people microwave popcorn because I'm like down 2 pots and I just popped a thing of popcorn. but I mean, it's fine. It was fun. They had a good time. And honestly, the popcorn was great. It was very good. I'm so sorry. We could start talking about the book now.
Yes.
Heck, she needs a New Year's resolution, write more books, because I will literally read anything she writes at this point. I adore her. But Most Wonderful Crime of the Year, we pop back in after our little break. We pop back into the chapters. Maggie's like back in her little room at the estate, and she is scared of a potential killer kind of running around. And she's decided she's going to try to drag this giant dresser in front of the door and cannot move it. Then Ethan shows up, which was the cutest scene ever, because he just shows up. He's just tossing pillows and blankets and just drags his whole ass mattress into her room. And she's like, what are you doing? And I feel like the second half of the book, you get so many like just little moments where you see how much he cares in just the littlest of ways. And it's very much a, like, if he wanted to, he would type guy. Because, like, he just does it all. Like, just showing up to protect her, like, making sure she has something to eat, even when she doesn't say anything. He knows how she takes her coffee. Like, just all those little things.
The touch her and I'll kill you. I was like,
Those are always great.
I was like, I'm betting.
They were kind of, like, arguing and teasing a little bit because she's like, I don't need your protection, and he like looks over to the dresser that had moved only like a few inches, and she was like, it's always been there. And then he just like easily moves it.
Also, the Marcy discussion, I can't. That was so cute. And he was like, all this time I thought we had an inside joke.
I know.
I was like, just rip my heart out.
So when we're
Just
also,
rip
The
it out.
miscommunication.
so when they decide he's gonna stay in her room that night because he wants to protect her from potential killers running around, and they have like a lot of bonding, so that you get a lot of backstory. You get that Ethan was in the Secret Service. You get just a little bit more about the both of them. You start to finally in this second half of the book, you get Ethan point of views, which we really didn't get in the first half of the book. So you're starting to get some from his point of view, and you get his flashback to the elevator scene where you learn how they originally met 5 years ago. And he like instantly had fallen in love with her. And then he realized that she's married. And he was just like, well, crap. And that his
butthole, the
Yeah,
suede
and that her-
shoes,
and that her
stop.
husband was like a whole jerk. Like just not even just like he was jealous that she was married, but like he was like a legit like douche.
Yes.
And he immediately was like, she deserves
Drop me off at the front because of my suede shoes. I can't.
Yeah. made her walk through the snow.
Mm-hmm.
For her event, too. It was her event. So she had to show up looking yucky for her own event.
She's better off.
She is better off.
I like
that
how
we
when they
mentioned.
finally have the conversation that they've needed to have. When it comes out, because one of the reasons why she was so against him and didn't like him is she thought he was talking about her in a disparaging way. But he eventually came clean, and I was like, that wasn't really about you. It was about your husband. So I love that all this came about. And it's like, oh, miscommunication.
It strikes again.
It strikes again.
But then the next morning, Maggie's like, we need to solve the case. And Ethan's not super excited for it, but he's going to do anything for her. So he's like, cool, let's do it. And so they start going around and they're questioning all the people. And they realize that there have been changes to the will, which is suspicious, and everybody's looking for the will. I love the scene with Kitty, with the kids. And she was like, the kids were doing like this whole series of playing a game called Crash Bang, because they just crash into stuff and then like a loud bang. And I was like, oh, I'm familiar with this game. After spending a week with Catherine's kids.
I was going to say, Mary got to witness a lot of Crash Bang in the house.
In the
Hobby-
best, most fun way. Except for Hobby Lobby, which was a little traumatizing.
That's fair. I was also traumatized.
What happened at the Hobby Lobby?
Oh my gosh.
I'm so jealous I missed that. I
Noah
need to
just
go.
You know.
Noah's like running off, just running off, and
Oh my
then
God.
just zero stranger danger, just chatting with everybody, walking out the store with them.
No, they got it from her.
That's
knows who they
what
got
I
you.
said.
Well, I had just gotten through telling her about how Noah took after James, because James was apparently very difficult as a young child, much like Noah is. And then we're checking out, and Noah is standing at the exit, just talking to some guy, trying to walk out with him.
Oh.
And Mary looks at me, she's like, takes after James, huh? I was like, well, like, in this instance, that's like me. But, yeah, I will
That
say
man's
the
name was
kids very much loved having Mary. They talk about Mary constantly now from all of the quality time. They're like, Mary would like this. What have you talked to Mary today? That's what Christopher, like, he's, yeah. Is Mary coming? So,
That's so cute.
yeah.
To be fair, I do the same. Is Mary coming?
I'm
Is this
just
the
chopped-
weekend? Is Mary coming
I'm
this
just
weekend?
chopped liver. Because I'll tell you this, I'm home all the time now, and I mean, when I was working at the shop, Christopher would get so upset when I would leave and stuff like that, and now he's like, what are we doing tomorrow? Is Paw Paw coming? And I'm like, am I not good enough? I don't say that, I think it. But, yeah, they had a great time. I had a great time. I made Mary oatmeal.
It was really. I need your oatmeal recipe because I made oatmeal this morning and it was not the same.
Technically, the recipe is for gruel, but oatmeal sounds better.
100%. I need some gruel in my life, and then I can pretend that I'm some 17th century peasant eating my gruel in the morning.
It's very good. It's got like maple syrup.
I just
and-
cosplay my whole life, just eating my gruel.
I know. I was sitting and like knitting today, and I was like, "Look at me go!" Just sitting here knitting.
I was visiting my mom yesterday because she got. Remember, I was visiting you, and I got a call from her, and she's like, "Can you come over?" I'm like, "I'm not anywhere near you." Like I'm not. I'm like 2 states away. We were just sitting there together, like two old ladies, just crocheting.
I'm so glad. I was telling Catherine earlier, I'm really like stepping up my crochet game. I'm learning a new stitch pattern,
You've been knitting.
and I've been knitting. I'm a knitter.
She's a
Knitting
knitter.
things. So, Eventually, I'm using scarves as my practice. So I'm doing this one new stitch pattern, and I don't think I'm gonna do it on this one because I kind of want to use this as a gift. But I'm gonna do one more scarf, and that's gonna be joining different colors, so I can get used to doing different, adding in colors appropriately and easily. So that'll be my next scarf, and then we're moving on to hats because then I'll need to buy some new things.
Oh, can we work on that together?
Yes.
Because I would love that. Because I would like to make hats.
I think we can do it. I really do. I'm very confident
I
that
tried
we
it
can make
twice
some
and I
hats.
struggled. Yeah. I made some homemade gifts this year and I knit some things that are new things that I've never knit before, which they actually turned out pretty good.
Eventually, we'll make socks. We're gonna start off. With
I
hats,
really
and then
wanna
I'm-
make
I think we
socks.
can make socks.
But I can only.
I've got high hopes.
But
It's
I'm
coming up.
worried about socks because, like, some people talk about how you have to have like a bajillion needles for socks. I have seen some patterns where you can flat knit socks,
Yeah.
and I really like flat knitting is kind of where it's at for me right now. I'm gonna need to start flat before I start getting into those like double pointed.
Well, I think if we can do the in the
Like, how do you
round,
do
learn
that?
how to do in the round. There is a pattern where you can just like that's why I want to do hats next. So I'm gonna make I'm doing a lot of scarves, and then I'm moving on to hats. Then we'll make some socks, and then by the time I get to a sweater, it should be easy peasy.
I'm over here like I can do a rectangle. I can do a rectangle.
A sweater is just a big rectangle.
Yeah. Then you're just putting pieces together.
That's
It's
right.
got arms. I would like to do a sweater.
We're gonna figure it out together. We'll do it together.
Okay. The book.
But back to the story. So she goes. They're interviewing all the different people at the estate. So she finds out about the changes to the will. She talks with Kitty. She sees Ethan being super good with the kids, and her.
It's
like,
adorable. So
it's super adorable. Her ovaries.
nothing
just, like,
hits you in
leave
the
her
ovaries
body.
like that. Yep.
They realize that there was supposedly a bank account mix-up. and
Freaking
so-
Rupert.
So you
I'm gonna tell you what, Kitty deserves better than Rupert.
yeah, he's
He's the worst.
He's the worst. But so you're seeing a lot of people having motives because the Duke and Duchess have motive. Rupert has some motive. Kitty's just trying to wrangle kids. I don't think Kitty has any motive. Kitty's just trying to knit her sweaters and
My
wrangle her
favorite
children.
was her while they were talking, and she's just like knitting away. Like, I was like, that would be me 100%.
just trying to find some peace. Just
I'd be listening to the story, just like, is there any popcorn?
I
Like,
think
just while, like,
all
while I'm-
three of us would be that person right
Yes.
there,
Would they be
knitting for
sitting there?
once, not saying a word.
well, and then
Be quiet.
Ethan making them wear the matching sweaters again too.
So
was so cute. I was like, he's a Kitty stan. So they end up falling into this like hidden room, and when they're in there, Maggie doesn't like small dark spaces, so she starts kind of having a little bit of a panic attack. And that's where she realizes that the guy in the elevator was Ethan. He tells her about how he got his scar, which was not some really cool, like, he took a bullet for someone type story. But he was trying to help someone. They were just in a car accident. And then no one was in the car. They'd already left. And then, like, there was, like, a snow slide. Like a mudslide, but with snow, I guess. Like,
Avalanche.
yeah.
Nope.
And he kind of,
Good
you know,
intention.
so he'd fallen off basically the side of like a mountain or whatever, and got the scar and had to go through recovery. And then he had to quit the Secret Service after that because he had, even with all the therapy and everything, he had a tremor in his hands, so he couldn't carry a gun anymore. And that's how he started writing, was actually he was depressed and he'd get drunk and he just started writing. And then I guess in a drunken stupor, he started querying agents. And eventually he got accepted, and I was like, must be nice. I was like, maybe I need to query in a drunken stupor.
Oh.
But then he tells Maggie that he knows about her pen names, because after the divorce, she started writing with a bunch of pen names. You learn that her just douche of a husband, he has the affair with her best friend. So she loses her husband and her best friend. And then even though he was like wealthy, he'd like, I guess between him and his family, they'd like spent all their money. They had no money. So she was making all the money. And somehow they had like finagled where he got half of all of her royalties for the end of time for her, like her name.
I still don't understand that.
So she started writing under all these pen names because then those were hers and he couldn't have them. But there was a fourth pen name that he hadn't found yet, and he was like determined.
He like let it slip.
Yeah. Because he's like, I found all three. And she was like, oh, only three? And he's like, oh, there's a fourth. And he was like determined. He's like, I'm going to find this fourth one. And so that was
he
fun.
did.
He did at the end.
He did.
Which was it Monster Smut?
It doesn't say smut specifically, but when he first mentioned it and she didn't want to tell him, he was like, oh, it's dirty. And then she was like, no, and he was like, it's really dirty.
Well,
and
when
then
he mentions it, he's like, he doesn't mention that it's smut. He just says the monster books.
it's monsters.
But
and
then he's
so,
like, we're going to talk about it later.
yeah, so it's like implied
Yeah.
that it's,
I thought it was really cute.
yeah.
That's cute.
I was over here like, she's the one that's behind that milking farm. But
So as they get out of like that room, they end up in the greenhouse, and they realize that there had been a fire in the greenhouse. But the greenhouse it was not a normal greenhouse. It was filled with basically an entire room of poisonous plants. And so when those get set on fire, it creates like toxic fumes. So they were like, well, someone had obviously tried to like off Eleanor before by doing that. So,
I loved the side eye that you just gave this.
he's trying so hard to be quiet.
You were like,
It's IKEA for like building. I feel like I'm surprised we haven't heard any cursing yet. To be
Yeah, I
honest,
was like,
no cuss
he's probably
words. That's
doing it
pretty
to
good.
himself.
So they get out of there because they were like, oh, we got to get out of this room. And they go back to her room and realize that it's been just destroyed. Someone's been in there, yeah, just looking. And the manuscript is gone that she had taken out of the office of Eleanor's final book. And so, like, they know someone in the house is still like doing all of this. So the power goes out. You finally get like a kiss. That was real cute. They go back to the office because while they're kissing, she's like looking at his eyes and being like, oh, the blue eyes. And then she's like, oh crap, there was a blue envelope back in her office. So she goes back to the office to find the blue envelope. And they couldn't find the envelope, but they did find like a hidden camera, almost like a nanny cam inside a clock. And they take it back with them. But the power's out, so they're like, oh, well, we can't watch it. And of course, Ethan, being Ethan, is like, you haven't eaten today, I'm going to feed you. And he goes to get her some food and is like, don't leave the room. And while he's gone, she's like, oh, wait, I have my laptop. And it's like fully charged. I'll just watch the video on my laptop. And as she's watching it, she sees the last person to give Eleanor the poison tea cart or tea tray was Ethan. And so now she's like, oh no, Ethan's the killer.
Girl,
Right.
come on. You know Ethan is not the killer. It just looks bad.
And then someone like hits her and she blacks out. And she wakes up tied up in the greenhouse. Ethan comes back to the room and is like panicking because one, he sees the video and it's like frozen, freeze framed on his face. So he's like, oh no, she's mad at me. But he also knows that she would have never left the video. Like she just wouldn't have abandoned it. And so deep down, he knows something's just wrong. And so he's like running through the house, trying to find her in like a frantic, panicked mess, asking everybody where she is. He threatens the inspector. Meanwhile, Maggie has a flashlight in her pocket and she's able to like light the flashlight up, and Ethan sees the beam coming from the greenhouse. And so he like realizes it's Maggie and goes out there to her to rescue her. And Maggie's just like still thinks that he's the big bad and doesn't want his help. But then you can tell she still trusts him because she lets him untie her. And then someone sets the greenhouse on fire while they're in it. So then you know he's not the big bad anymore. You're like, someone's still trying to kill y'all. And they're able to escape through like a secret passage.
This is when it gets good.
Yeah, because then Maggie's like, we got to go back to the house, and Ethan's like, I'm not letting you go back to that house because someone's trying to kill us. So they go the opposite way, which leads to a cottage, like a little cottage. And then we get our closed door. It's like a closed door scene, but it's alluded that they spend the night together. And then there's like a little Easter egg in there. I don't know if they really go back to like explain, like to show you that it's an Easter egg. I can't remember. But while they're in there the next morning, there's a newspaper that's dated like 2 days previous. Mm-hmm. You know someone's been hanging in that cottage, whether it's Eleanor or the killer. Right. Ethan wants to call his dad, who would be able to come and rescue them. He'll do anything to save Maggie. And Maggie realizes that, like, if he does that, he's going to owe his dad. He's going to have to go back and do all these things that he's not going to want to do.
That he doesn't want to do, yeah.
And he's basically going to give up this life that he loves for her. And so she's, like, insistent that they can solve it themselves. They don't need rescuing. And he also tells her that he loves her in the cottage, which was really cute.
It's really adorable.
You also get a flashback to, because throughout the story they keep talking about is it because of Tucson, and they keep talking about Tucson. Right, and everything's we don't talk about Tucson. And then we finally get a flashback to Tucson, which was 9 months previous. She's going through the divorce. Her best friend calls her, like got a burner phone to call her to let her know that she's pregnant with her soon-to-be ex-husband's baby. Like, who does that?
Mm-hmm. I didn't want you to hear it from somebody else. Be like,
yeah,
well, I didn't want to hear it from you.
right. I'm like, she just don't want to hear it, period. Don't
That's
call
great.
her and tell her that. So she's, of course, like super upset and is bawling. Ethan comes out. She thinks her and Ethan are like arch enemies. He like consoles her. She goes to leave, and he follows her, and she's like kind of not really teasing him, but she's like harping on him about it. And he's like, I'm not going to let you walk home in a strange city by yourself. And then, and he consoles her. And so afterwards, she's like, we never speak of this ever again. And he never did. He never brought it up. He never talked about it. And so you kind of get that was sort of a turning point for her with him. But you've known all along that for him, that was not a turning point. He was just always in love with her.
so cute.
But so then they go back to the house and they start doing the breakdown of all the things they know. They gather everybody in there, and you get the big reveal of our killer. Were you guys surprised? I was surprised. I remember the first time.
Having just reading mysteries, just guessing, I was like, it's gonna be the person you least suspect. That's like the golden rule. So my first guess is always the one that you're not suspecting. So I guessed correctly, but I never could figure out the motive. Mm-hmm. And so even finding out who it was, I was like, but why? Like, what do you have to gain?
Which you get, she's good about how she did that, because you've got the foreshadowing of him going to her trying to solve the case. But then what you don't know is that he was like trying to find this girl that he had almost murdered. And that's why he was so insistent on trying to solve it.
And there's no way you could have known that, for the motive. There's no way.
Well, and for a while I thought it might be the butler, but I really didn't want it to be the butler because I really like the butler. And then at the end you love the butler because he's with Eleanor. And
he's like the love interest for her. Yeah.
And the fact he was the only one. So when she got shot at, he was the only one outside that I knew of. So I was like, not the butler, but what's his name?
The inspector.
The inspector, yeah.
Yeah.
He was the only one outside. So just the fact that just having read mysteries before and just pure speculate, just guessing, I was like, it's going to be him. And when the whole scene happened and he came in, I I was kind of like, he's the only one that was legit outside that I
well,
could.
and I felt like Rupert was too obvious.
Uh-huh.
Cece was a obvious red herring.
Mm-hmm.
And so
I was
you
like,
know,
he was just it, but I had no clue why, and there's no way. There
I
was
ended up liking the Duchess in the end.
Yeah.
yeah.
And I think, you know, she kind of did a decent job of like justifying her character a little bit, of like why she was the way she was towards Eleanor. And then at the very end, she was just like, she kind of like, she hated all of those games and all the clues and the puzzles. She just wanted Eleanor. She wanted to spend time with her. She wanted presents. She didn't want all of this. But then in the end, she missed it. And she just wanted Eleanor back.
Yeah.
So at the very end, then they're tasked with kind of finding Eleanor. And you get in the epilogue that they finally have found Eleanor, who has like disappeared into like some Greek island.
exactly where she wanted to be. Yep.
She's at the beach with James.
She turned
I
her
know,
house,
which is
that
so
big old house she
lovely.
hated, and all that money, she turned it into like a home for abused women, and then and is just living her best life with her butler out on some island, and was just happy. But what I thought was so great was when you realize she brought all those people in to solve that case and solve the murder. But she knew all along that Maggie was going to be the one to solve it. And she knew all along who Ethan was, and he specifically brought him there to just protect her and take care of her. So that way she could solve it.
So cute.
And I was like, it's so cute.
It's adorable. I love it.
Did you guys read the very, very end?
Well,
Where
I
they're doing their
audiobooked it, so I don't know if I missed
Oh,
anything.
then you didn't get it.
I probably didn't.
So at the very end, after the acknowledgments, you get their cheesy Christmas letter that they were writing, that
Aw.
Maggie and Ethan are writing to like their fans or their readers or whatever. But then they're trying to write it, and then they're going back and forth about it, arguing over how to write it and how it should sound, and it was really cute. But then you find out, I think it was when they go to find Eleanor, you realize he proposed.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, because it's in this letter at the very end, because you kind of miss it. So they're each writing pieces of the letter, and he said, because our biggest news is this: by the time you read this letter, I will be on my way to Greece with the woman I love, and there will be a ring in my pocket and a question on my mind. And Maggie goes, what? And Ethan's like, consider yourself warned, Margaret of mine. And Maggie says, are you proposing to me in the margins of a working draft of a cheesy Christmas letter I didn't even want to write in the first place? And so, yeah. It's super cute.
That
And
is too cute.
yeah, and he's like, I'm telling the woman that I love that she's for me, and I'm in it for the long haul, and if you don't want me, you can just go ahead and kill me. I hear knitting needles are great for that.
Yes, actually.
Yeah, when I went to go visit my grandfather in the hospital, I actually hid the knitting needles at the bottom of my knitting bag because I didn't want them to tell me I couldn't take my bag up. 'cause
I
didn't
have
want them to
metal
be like-
ones. I have metal ones. I think it's like.
Yeah, I have. I have
you
all
know,
the-
'cause you.
Yeah, I have metal
you
ones
got
too.
them for me.
And so I hid them at the bottom because I wanted to knit in the hospital, but I
But-
didn't want it to be like those are weapons.
Catherine, I do want some wooden ones though. I'm ready for some wooden ones.
I
The
will
metal
s-
ones be slipping all the time. I'm dropping them all the time.
I like the metal. So I'm working with my metal ones right now because I needed a size 11 and my wooden ones are size 12. But I used my size 12 for another project recently, and like going back and forth between the metal and the wood, I'm like, I like the metal because I actually feel like I can work like pretty quick, but I like the wood ones because it stays in place. I like them both for different reasons. There's pros and cons to both. But I enjoy them. I like my wooden ones because Mary got them for me at the Renaissance Fair, and they're all fancy, and so I feel fancy when I'm knitting them. So we'll have to get you some fancy knitting needles.
I like the sound of the metal ones because it's like ting 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 ting. ting. It makes me sound like I'm doing something.
What do we think Kitty? Well, Kitty must have had metal ones because she stabs Dobson.
She's like,
with them.
You could stab with the wood ones. You just gotta really get in there.
It's like a
the
snake,
metal
like a
ones will
vampire.
glide right through that eye socket. That's where you go.
The fact that you've thought about that, Elizabeth, is just a little concerning. Just a little bit. Okay, what's our star rating? What's our rating?
A star for me. I loved it.
For me, it's like a 4 to 4.5, just because, and I told Catherine this earlier, mysteries, once I know the ending and I've solved the mystery, it's really hard, extremely hard for me to want to pick it up and read it again. That's really the only reason.
She
But
only does a 5-star for ones that she does.
My 5-star books are reserved for those that are gonna stick with me, that I'm gonna reread, that I know that I'll be thinking about in the future. Now, if I were doing 5 stars based off of vibes and vibes alone, Vibes gets a 5. Vibes, it not only that, but I feel like I could recommend this book to anybody. I don't think that there's anything too smutty or anything too untoward that
I would recommend this to
I
my
would
church
recommend this to everybody, all types. If you are a romance girly, I would recommend. If you're a mystery or suspense or thriller, recommend. It's a very safe book. And I really just enjoyed it. I highly recommend the audiobook. I had a fun time with that. They did great. But I just know, for me, like it's not something, it would be a long time before I pick it up again because I do know the ending. Honestly, that's all mysteries for me. That's all of them. I told her, I said the only mystery I think I've ever given a 5-star to was the last one, Left by Riley Sager. And that's just because I feel like I missed a lot of clues in that one, and I would like to go back and see if he alluded to the things that happened in the end. I only got one twist right in that book, and I'm like, and there were so many twists. I'm like, well,
There were so many.
And I was like, well, did he my dense? Did I just miss a lot? So that's the only one I'm concerned about.
I know I'm dense. I miss everything. I was reading it and I was like, no.
I got one thing right, and then he had me second guessing myself on that. And so that would really be the only one that I could see rereading. And it has stuck with me because it was such an Agatha Christie move in a lot of ways. And I wish I would have seen it coming, but I completely missed it, just over my head. So that would be the only one I would consider rereading, but I would be rereading it for like looking for stuff, like looking for those clothes and be like, okay, he did put them in. But other than that, no, I loved this book. I really did. So don't let the 4.5 fool anybody. It's a great book.
What about you, Mary?
It's 5. It's a 5. I loved the reread as much as I loved it the first time through. Might have even loved it a little bit more. I don't know. But
Because you did an audiobook too the first time, right?
I did audiobook, and then I actually did both. I audiobooked and physically read it at the same time.
Oh, I bet that was good.
It was fun. And the banter is so good in it. Her pacing is really well done. You get, like, the way she even drops in nuggets of backstory where it's never overwritten. It's just the right amount, you know. I don't know. It was, like I said, I'll read anything by her. She needs to, this message is for Allie Carter. You need to write more books faster.
Yeah.
Or not even faster, just like more books, just like I'm ready. I will read all of them. It says in the very back, keep an eye out for Allie Carter's next Christmas romance coming soon. And I'm like, how soon is soon? Let's go.
Yeah, because it's the next Christmas. I read that last Christmas. Like, where is it, Allie?
Well, and I think she ended up doing the most, she did The Blonde Who Came In From the Cold, which I don't consider like a Christmas romance. It'd be like considering Die Hard a Christmas movie.
Those books. So I have not read the blonde one yet, but I would consider rereading the first one in that series. I enjoyed that too. I had a good time with that.
So yeah, I just
But I really like Allie's writing style. It's easy to read. The pacing is on par. It's just, I don't know. It's almost like a cozy book without being too cozy, you know?
The grift
There's
of the
interest
Magi.
in it. The plot is just fun. You know it's going to be lighthearted. You know, it's just it's a very well-rounded writing style, in my opinion. So what are we reading Next, Mary.
So our next book is The Wolf King by Lauren. I'm not even going to attempt to say her last name because I will mess it up. Sure. We'll go for that. Really pretty edges. So there's 59 chapters. I figure we can just read the first 30. Then
Okay.
we'll read 1 through 30. No, wait, I'm sorry. I saw Catherine's face and I'm like, wait a minute, we're not doing half a book at a time anymore. 1 through 15. We'll do 1 through 15.
Yeah, that's doable. I have no idea how long these
You're like,
chapters are.
okay, I'm over here
1
like,
through
false.
30.
That's not what we're doing.
I was like, all right, that's fine. In a week.
I was like, you expect too much.
I lied. Yeah, 1 through 15. I forgot we've been doing these shorter ones.
How many pages was that, Mary? You said chapters 1 through 15.
1 through 15 will end on page 121.
Okay, that's not bad.
So that girl reads, Jamie. She has been hyping this book a lot, so I have high expectations. It is a love triangle situation, I believe, and it is like with alpha wolves, like wolf shifters, something. Like,
Team Jacob.
Right up her alley.
it's right up her alley.
Are
I've
there
been
any vampires?
I don't know.
Well,
I don't
obviously
think so.
the wolf would win in this one.
But look, look at that. Catherine loves a little fuzzy creature. So
It looks.
she-
I love
as a
the
love
cover.
interest.
I
If
love
it's got
the
4
story.
legs, she's all over it. Hence Morning Glory Milking Farm.
Ew, no, don't. No. I draw the line at cows. I can't. I can't with that.
I'm glad there's a line in the sand for the
God,
4-legged
so
thing.
gross. It's so gross. Oh.
But I love the looks of the book. Good job on the sprayed edges. Good job on the cover art. If I were in the store, I would be drawn to that.
I know, I tried to find it this past weekend, so go ahead and grab it.
It kind of gives, even with the names and stuff, and then some of the fan art that I've seen, I feel like there's going to be a lot of either Irish or Scottish
Love.
sort of lore or themes or feel to it, because like the main character's, his name is Callum, and there was a lot of plaid happening, like the tartan.
Oh,
Are we happy?
I'm
Wait,
all
Callum
for
is
it.
the main character, the guy?
I may have to audiobook this.
I feel like the name Callum is
And
usually
read-
associated.
Princess Aurora, and then the powerful alpha Callum. And then I do know that there is another love interest, I think, that
I may have to read it and audiobook it because they got the accent. Cool. Ooh, I'm all for it. We gonna listen and read at the same time.
I'm excited.
favorite. What were your top reads of 2025?
Manacled.
Manacled, Dungeon Crawler Carl.
Um,
The second one. I read the third one. I like the second one over the third one.
Manacled, Night in the Moth, and Direbound.
Direbound, Night and Moth, yeah. Yeah, let me go looking.
Isabella Nag and the Pot of Basil. I really love it.
I promise it's on my TBR. I'm gonna be reading it.
My
It's-
reread of Recipe for Disaster.
Yes, yes. Recipe for Disaster. By the one and only Mary.
Most Wonderful Crime of the Year.
I have duds per se. I did have some 3-star books, but I had a lot of 4s, and nothing's wrong with a 4. Oh, On Wings of Blood, loved it. Red Rising, loved it.
Red Rising, I'm still not done with, but I do love it. I'm like,
Those
really,
were my 5 stars.
I feel like I'm not hitting on
Love
much.
and Other Words by Christina Lauren.
You like
Loved
that
it.
one?
I flew through that. Oh my gosh, I read that like overnight.
I've only read one Christina Lauren, but I did like it.
I loved Shadow So Cruel and the first one. Feather So Vicious. I love those. Love, love, love. That's the dark romance girlies. That's
I
where you
haven't
want
read
it.
that
Dark
one.
romance to see. Oh yeah, Tusk Tales and Tea Cakes. I enjoyed that.
I liked it.
It was cute.
I gave that a 5 too. It was adorable. I need to read the second
I
one.
did read Binding 13 and Keeping 13. Well, to be fair, I audiobooked it because of where it took place. And I did enjoy it. I did not mark it as a 5. It was close. A lot of girlies are like, oh my gosh, it's like God tier, it's 6. I did not get that vibe. but mine was more on the 4 scale. But it was good. Got a lot of 4s. Oh yeah, we had Enchantra. We had
I liked it. I still think I liked Phantasma better than Enchantra.
well, I
But
gave Enchantra a 4. I did not give
I
it a 5.
liked Enchantra as far as I thought the writing had improved. But as far as the vibes and the actual story, I still think I like Phantasma better. And the main reason for that is because I felt like Phantasma had higher stakes. Like, it was like, I felt like there really wasn't a ton of actual danger that was happening in Enchantra. Like, they seemed to just, like, find a hidey hole and then they were just, like, fine. Whereas, like, in Phantasma, it was like, you gonna die. But I still loved Enchantra and still gave it a 5. I just think I like the storyline in Phantasma better.
Let's see. Nope, I read those. It's 2024. I
Like
like
Blackwell, man, you just can't beat Blackwell.
Yeah, but those were my
Unless you're
main
Kingfisher.
5-star reads for the year. And even my 4 stars, like they were good. I definitely enjoyed them. Again, it's really hard to get into my 5-star slot. So, because I require a lot out of my 5 stars.
You do.
I
She
require
does.
a lot.
I'm
So,
over here like, that was fun. 5.
Yes, vibes alone 5, but.
Did I just kick you? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
But yeah, no, yeah, I had some good reads.
What about you, Mary?
I'm like looking at my list. I'm like, so Daughter of No Worlds I read this year. It was like my first read of the year, and it was a 5 for me. It was really good. Onyx Storm I read this year as well, and it was my favorite of the series so far. I also read The Blonde Identity and The Blonde That Came In From the Cold this year, and again, I will never stop hyping Allie Carter. I'm like officially like her #1 fan now. So, I also read all of the Spark of the Everflame, like the 3 Spark of the Everflame books that are out, and I freaking love that series.
That's like a hit or miss from most reviews I've been reading. I do have them. They're on my TBR. I will get to them.
Loved it, and I'm super excited for the 4th book, which is the final book. I'm hoping that she wraps the series up really well. But Luther is an amazing male main character. I don't know. I just like the whole plot. I like the storyline. I like the pacing. There was a few times you want to like kick the female main character in her head a little bit, but overall, I've just really, really enjoyed it and enjoyed the story. Of course, the ones that we read for the podcast, Direbound and The Night and the Moth. Where is The Night and the Moth on mine? Did I not even put it on my Goodreads?
You know, I do that sometimes. Sometimes it gets missed.
I really liked P.S. I Hate You, which was a shock. I audioed that one, and it was a really good book. I gave it 5. I would 100% listen to it again. It was really good. It was really, if you want just like a standalone contemporary romance that has a lot of heart behind it, but was also had some humor. It was really, really good. I enjoyed it. I liked Bryn Weaver's new one, Tourist Season, although Charlie broke it to me. He sent me a message and let me know that I was like, when I read it, I was like, her last series, it was a series, but they were kind of like, they followed different characters, so they were basically standalones that were interconnected. Apparently, this is not, because it's going to be a trilogy. And he was like,
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Harvest Season. I want to read that.
so I was
That's
like,
on my
well,
list
crap.
for
I thought it was
2020.
going to follow different characters. So.
I haven't read any Bryn Weaver yet.
It's different.
Yeah, see, it's those little
It-
things that have made
different.
me take pause.
It's different.
Because that's like whatever they're like. It's different. I was like everyone, and I'm not like against it.
It
really
actually
not that
wasn't.
bad.
So when it came out, it was really getting hyped as like a serial killer,
Dexter.
very spicy, whatever. I actually did not find them that
I
spicy.
didn't think
felt
it
like
was too spicy.
I felt like they followed the regular contemporary romance rules, where it was like you didn't get spice until after 50%. and sometimes
Yeah.
closer to like 65%. And they
That
were
was funny.
there was way more plot than there was spice.
I was laughing
prefer that.
reading it.
And
That's why I enjoyed it. I
and
thought it
the
was
serial
hilarious.
killer aspect, yes, it's there, but I felt like it was done in a really humorous, entertaining way, with also a lot of throwbacks to a lot of like, you got a lot of like, at least in the first one, you got like snippets of like Silence of the Lambs and like all these like kind of like famous ones without saying that, but there was like these little like Easter egg hints that like she's big fans of these, and so she's dropping them in to her books. And it was I really liked it. I thought it was fun and a good time. And it was not what I was expecting because of, and I don't even know if it was her marketing or if it was more like the Book Talk marketing that was happening, and because people were like trying to do spoiler free reviews of it, which is great, except they were really pushing that it's like this serial killer, very spicy, whatever. And I was like, I did not actually took me so long to read it because I was like, well, I don't want just this like unhinged
Couldn't read anything
allspice
too
book
unhinged.
about serial killers.
It
So
really
it took
wasn't
me
that
a
bad.
long time to pick it up, and then when I did, I was pleasantly surprised because it was not that.
It was
very
very
plot
Dexter.
heavy. Yeah, and it was a lot.
very Dexter light. It was lighthearted.
Yeah, it was a
in a lot
good
of ways.
time. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was so
Like
I
you
did
can't
enjoy
take it seriously.
Yeah. I kind of was like, I was a little afraid it was going to end up being like, maybe not. I don't think anything could quite be as bad as Court of the Vampire Queen, but I thought maybe it was like the way it was being talked about. I was like, is that the case? Like, is it going to be smut from page one?
It was not.
And it was not. So when we were, so at the Q&A, we were talking about our most unhinged books, and I was just going through my Goodreads, and I forgot that I forgot my most unhinged book of the year this year was this. I had you order it for me, Catherine.
Oh, the hitchhiker one?
Yes. Along for the ride.
Yeah.
That one was,
It
was not.
Yeah.
Who wrote it? Who's the author?
It didn't
Is
land.
it Penelope?
for
No.
you. No, it's some, I don't know who it is, but I remember it came in and I was like, all right, well,
That's a choice. Sometimes it's a choice.
I was like, someone's in a mood. And
I gave it a 2.
yeah,
I gave
she
it a
did.
Lauren Beale was
Someone's
the author.
in a
It was
mood.
not badly written. It was well written. Someone is gonna enjoy the crap out of it. It just did not. It was not my vibes. It was 2 brothers and 1 girl. There was a lot of spitting, which is not my jam. Also, one of the brothers was very into like necrophilia, so he would like
Ew.
make her fake being dead.
Yeah.
Again, just not. None of those things are for me. I was just
I remember when you were explaining this book to me and I was just like, that sounds.
I'm like, I don't think this one's for me. It's for
Pass.
someone else.
Pass.
Someone is gonna read it and be like, my favorite book
It's
ever.
a test.
It was just not my favorite book ever. So join us next week as we cover the first 15 chapters of The Wolf King. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out all our other episodes. And we will see you guys next week. Bye.